In the previous episode, Orin intervened to stop an act of violence at the academy and introduced herself as Princess Orin Severus. When Barrett learned she was a princess, he showed no hesitation and instead greeted her with a condescending tone. "Ah, I was wondering who you were. But you're just the 5th princess of the Yushif Empire." He then stood up, leaning in towards Orin with a disdainful expression and expressed, "It's an honor to meet you." Orin, feeling uncomfortable, replied, "I don't feel like shaking your hand." She then demanded, "Barrett, you better explain this situation." Barrett smirked and responded, "I think you're misunderstanding something." He then gestured towards a student and suggested, "Should we ask her?" Advancing menacingly, he grabbed the student and pulled them forward to face Orin, asking with a threatening demeanor, "Are we bullying you right now?" The student replied nervously, "No, they weren't bullying me." Upon hearing the answer, Orin encouraged the student, "You don't need to hide it. Just look at you." The student, avoiding Aaron's gaze, said, "It's fine. Please just leave. We're just playing around." Barrett, pleased with the response, taunted Orin, "You heard that, right? I'm starting to be displeased." Orin, aware of the situation, firmly stated, "Whatever. I'm going to take her with me." Disrespecting Orin, Barrett immediately grabbed her arm tightly and threatened, "You didn't understand." Puzzled, Orin questioned, "What is the meaning of this?" Barrett growled, "Didn't you hear Leximus asking you to leave?" Orin threatened Barrett, "If you don't let go of me right now, I swear on my name that." Barrett, sneering contemptuously, interrupted, "Ha! You're nothing more than a weak little." Before he could finish, Cyan appeared suddenly, kicking Barrett and causing him to fall to the ground. Orin, seeing Cyan, brightened as she was rescued from the difficult situation. However, Cyan's attention shifted to the woman with pink hair in front, realizing she was Leximus. Leximus, witnessing the scene, worried about the situation escalating because of her. Meanwhile, Cyan wondered if this was the Leximus he knew from the past. Memories flooded back as he recalled their past encounters. On a rooftop, Cyan and Leximus engaged in fierce combat for unknown reasons. Despite being a woman, Leximus's swordsmanship was formidable, attacking Cyan aggressively. Cyan defended and retreated, maintaining distance and assessing the situation. He remembered and revealed, continent's best swordsman, Leximus Klein knew. She was originally from the Yushif Empire. But for some reason, after graduating from the academy, she entered the Count Klein household in Garam Kingdom and even changed her nationality. The battle between them continued with blue and red sword slashes cutting through the air. Leximus executed a sword strike from below, slicing the ground vertically. Cyan attempted to evade by leaping high, but was surprised when Leximus immediately leapt above him, swinging her sword in an arc from above. It seemed Leximus struck Cyan, but to her surprise, it was just his cloak. Unexpectedly, Cyan appeared above Leximus, catching her off guard. Before she could react, Cyan dove down, stabbing Karim straight into Leximus's back. Successfully pinning her to the ground, the sword pierced through her from behind. The impact scattered debris around, and Leximus's sword slipped from her hand. She coughed up blood and lay motionless on the ground. Cyan revealed that he was ordered by the Empire to kill her. His mission was to assassinate her. However, upon infiltrating the castle, he ended up engaging in an official duel with her. There wasn't any particular reason for it. She was someone who had reached the pinnacle of swordsmanship without mana. He didn't want to stealthily assassinate someone who had been hailed as the continent's best swordsman. Returning to the present, Cyan still felt conflicted when encountering the person he had once attempted to assassinate. Leximus, at this point, remained a naive girl, visibly intimidated by the main character. Other students rushed towards Barrett, calling out to him and expressing concern about the current situation. Barrett, with an annoyed tone, rebuked the nosy bystanders, attempting to stand up and grumbled, "Why are there so many nosy bastards today?" He then confronted Cyan with a sharp look and asked, "Are you Cyan Vert? I have heard about you. You came back from the front lines, huh? Did you want to join our little game?" Cyan, considering Barrett's proposition as merely a ridiculous game, voiced his opinion that the misuse of a mana marble could lead to the destruction of mana within the body. Then, Cyan glanced at Barrett's group and said, "A game where you force-feed someone a mana marble," and declared, "I'll join." Immediately after, Cyan unleashed a shadowy version of the Rasengan, a purple monosphere appearing in his hand. But moments later, Cyan's Rasengan transformed into an Odama Rasengan, growing large and engulfing the area above them, leaving Barrett horrified and speechless. Cyan's gaze then turned menacing as he coldly questioned Barrett, "What are you doing?" He continued to demand that Barrett open his mouth to begin their game. The events following this moment were unknown, but the scene shifts to the Academy's infirmary. Leximus sat on the bed, her wounds bandaged. Orin and Cyan were also present. Orin reassured Leximus, "Your external injuries are mostly healed, but you need to be on bed rest for your internal injuries to heal. So rest up for today." Leximus expressed gratitude for their help, saying, "Thank you so much. I don't know how I can repay you for this." Orin, excitedly, with her nose in the air, proudly remarked, "Ha! You saw how those bastards ran away when our Cyan scared them. We just did what we should have, so don't worry about it." Cyan stood nearby, feeling puzzled by Aaron's use of our Cyan. His expression turned slightly somber as he evaluated fractures as well as a slight concussion. "It's shocking that she managed to endure that. I guess the continent's best swordsman would be different." Suddenly, Leximus hesitantly asked, "Do you perhaps know me?" Cyan, not understanding Leximus's meaning as this was their first meeting in the present, responded coldly, "I thought I knew you, but I don't. Sorry if it was unpleasant." Leximus, embarrassed, lowered her head and said, "It's nothing." Their conversation left Orin puzzled, but she brushed it off and asked Leximus, "Where's your dorm? What if those bastards come to bully you again? To retaliate or something?" Leximus, with a saddened expression, replied, "Commoner Hall." Upon hearing this, Orin confirmed, "Commoner Hall. You're a peasant?" Leximus admitted, "Yes. I was enrolled specially thanks to Instructor Veltane. He promised me financial support during my school career, but he suddenly got fired." Cyan confirms the situation and says, "So in other words, no one's here to support you." Leximus acknowledges that Cyan is right. Cyan continues, "You might have to leave the academy then." Orin, feeling sorry, exclaims, "Oh, no. You poor thing." Cyan then suggests, "Then why don't you just take her as your person, princess? Learn swordsmanship from her while you're at it too." Hearing Cyan speak all this time, Orin naively points to Leximus and asks Cyan with confusion, "What are you talking about?" Leximus is a boy. Cyan is puzzled and corrects Orin, saying, "She's a girl." Orin, upon hearing the answer, stands frozen as she didn't realize Leximus was a woman. Leximus, now flustered, explains, "I didn't mean to deceive you, Your Highness. It's just, having short hair and boys' clothes were more comfortable, so a lot of people mistake me for a boy." Orin apologizes, "No, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize." Even Cyan knew. In her heart, Orin tells herself, "I guess I've failed as a woman." Leximus, flustered, denies, No, I should be the one apologizing." Orin then returns to the main topic and asks Leximus, "Anyway, what do you think?" "I think Cyan's idea is pretty good. You won't be bullied by bad people if you come under me. You can learn whatever you want. And have a comfortable life." Leximus wonders why Orin would help her. Orin laughs awkwardly and responds, "Well, I don't really like being alone." However, the real reason Orin believes is, she can't just not do anything either since she is the princess. Leximus immediately thanks Orin and expresses, "I'll make sure to become someone you can be proud of." "Thank you so much." Orin then turns to Cyan and says, "You don't need to thank me. It was all Cyan's." However, Cyan is no longer there, having left without them noticing. Outside the medical building, Cyan steps out and thinks to himself, "I did enough. I'm sure Princess Orin will take care of the rest. But I see the reason Leximus abandoned the Yushif Empire. She never would have lost her mana if it hadn't been for Barrett Louismil, the continent's best swordsman who never lost her mana. She's gonna be difficult for even me to defeat. Anyway, my interest right now is elsewhere." Cyan holds a joyful mission order in his hand and expresses, "The order that I received from Hall Master Sarika this morning. It's my first purification mission, as a mist.